Hi everyone, welcome again to the demo class 2. And basically, before you have joined, there is a question which has been put up by Namdev. Like he is like having 13 years of experience already, and I've worked on 9 years approx into one of the BPM tool and few years on Java. However, there is a question which he wanted to understand, like if he wants to learn a new BPM tool, right, such as like maybe APN or Camunda or something else, then are these tools are common, or like if they are different, right, how they are different with each other? So I hope that is a common question which you might be also want to understand from. I will try to give my overview on that point. So yes, when we talk about the BPM tools, right, these are like we known them as a low code tools. Low code is something which is like having a lesser coding requirement in a nutshell, as compared to the pro code applications. Like if we develop applications in Java or .NET or maybe Python, right? We do a lot of coding. Instead of that, these tools provide us low code capabilities by dragging and dropping few features. So in that way, they are common. Okay, like Mendix is also a low code. OutSystem is a low code. APN is also a low code. Flowable, Camunda, Oracle BPM, all these are low code tools. But on top of that, what we can also say is like they have a BPMN tool with that. They support the BPM terminologies, which means uh, BPM is particularly another language, I can say, which we are going to learn in the upcoming sessions, because it's a standard and a notation which is governed by object management group, which is again group of companies, right? So they maintain some standards, and all these products, right, though they are low code, they follow the BPMN standards. So in a way, they are common. However, right, when we compare Paga to APN or APN to Camunda or Camunda to Mendix, they are different. Okay, they have been built in sometimes in a different architecture style to support the different architectures. Okay, also their UI or how they um, like provide the application or the screens or the connectors, right, in order to develop your application with the low code approach is different. Same as like, I'm not sure how much you guys have also learned about the RPA. RPA is also robotic process automation. It's an automation tool which is again a low code, drag and drop a little bit, right? Then it is not similar to Camunda. If we talk about the RPA tools, we have Blue Prism, Automation Anywhere, UiPath, right? There are Robocorp. There are quite a few RPA tools as well. They are also supporting some low code approach by which, right, you can quickly develop your applications. But then they are not BPM tools. They are just low code tools. So that is where, right, different and even if we compare UiPath with Blue Prism or Blue Prism with Robocorp, they are different again, right? Coming from different companies, they have a different infrastructure, UI support, and features as well. So same way, to give a very to summarize this, if we compare, let's say, APN with Camunda, okay, because that is what the two tools Namdev also asked. When we learn about APN, right, most of the companies, right, they will evaluate different tools what are available into the market. There are different criteria to shortlist. Definitely, large size companies don't look for like licensing fees a lot. However, mid-sized companies also look into licensing fees, but they should be close to their requirement, right? Likewise, if we talk about APN, right, what type of projects are more suitable for APN is where we have top to bottom approach, right? Which means we are already structured with the data. We know what are the data objects or data tables or DB related objects we will be having, and then on top of that, we will design our applications, right, with the low code approach. We create some templates, and then on top of that, we design our processes, and then we deploy. And most likely, they are more suitable for companies which used to develop their applications for the usage of internal employees or people, right? They are not being shared over the internet for the outsiders. So, but this is not a baseline; it's a common approach. However, for Camunda, right, it has been popular because with that you do task automations as well as the process orchestration. So in APN, what we have seen is like assume you have a Instagram or you have a let's say Facebook kind of a feed or reports you wanted to generate and you wanted to populate different reports by playing with the data, right, which is all available. You define different screens, and from one screen to another screen you have a data population. That way APN is really good at with the low code approach. It also has a BPM process. However, let's say if you look from a perspective where you are going to build a healthcare application, right, from end to end, which means you have a patients, you have a clinical staff, you have doctors, you have medical staff, and you have relatives. Many different people have a different type of like work to do in a healthcare application, and they have a different rights and access to act on it or view the details. On top of that, let's say about the fintech application, you have a credit card application or loan management application where you need lot many things to do, right, from starting to end. Assuming you have to do a KYC, know your customer check, right, before you grant any loan application. Then there should be a relationship manager who will be reviewing the documents of the applicant. Then there is a credit assessment has to be done, right? So and maybe after that credit decisioning team is there who will decide of granting the loan, and after that there could be many other multiple teams. The point here is there are different teams, right, which are doing their work independently, and there you have to do the orchestration of your application from one point to another. They, right, for have a seamless process orchestration, Camunda is quite popular and capable of doing the orchestration thing. On top of that, if you wanted to do a task automation is something. If you have a repetitive task, right, you wanted to automate few tasks, then also it is quite popular. And when we mix both these things, right, we call it as a process automation, which means end-to-end application or process automation you do. There, these tools are quite popular. Same thing we can also compare with the other tools as well. And then again, few features are common, few are not. And based on that, yeah, these tools are getting popular. Hope I'm able to answer your question, Namdev, but there is a hand raised by Karthik.
Hey, hi. I think today is my first day actually. Yesterday I haven't joined due to some work. So I have few questions. So, so basically, I'm a business architect. Okay, currently working in an company, and recently we are like Asia. I mean, we are like I'm working in Asia IT services, which is like Camunda
Mm-hmm.
Platinum partner, and we provide licensing to the other companies, but we don't have any projects as of now. We have, we have submitted few proposals yet to come the projects. So I wanted to understand,
Okay.
you know, how the Camunda and all, and we have done some POCs also in Camunda with limited knowledge with an internal team, hired an Camunda developer from outside, and we have trained our team. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
so currently how we are working is like Camunda we are working. I mean we are using only for the orchestration purpose, and like backend we are using React JS and front end like Spring Boot and Spring Boot. So
Mm-hmm.
Camunda is only for the orchestration purpose, or we can design the entire flow, even the UI, everything in Camunda, or only it is for the orchestration purpose.
Okay. Thanks, Karthik, for your introduction as well. And good that you are doing kind of POCs and already you have already worked with few developers on that. To answer your question, like the kind of setup you have done is like it's kind of a headless integration where you are using Camunda just for as a in terms of the orchestration. However, when I talk about the headless integration, the UI part and other things that you have created separately, right? And with the Spring Boot integrations and the APIs, you are doing all this back and forth call, right?
Yes,
Then,
yes.
yes, so you already know orchestration is already been done, okay? How it can be done, that also you are aware. But apart from that, it's not only the orchestration, we can also do the task automation. So Camunda also provides like forms. And even if you are not doing using the forms of Camunda, you are doing it for, let's say, React or Angular, whatever, right? Again, as an headless integration manner, depends upon case to case basis. But I've worked into various projects where we have also used Camunda for task automations, like uh, to give some details about like invoice processing, right? Have done where receiving the invoices by the customer on a mailbox, and then it is not only the Camunda, but it's a mix of technologies where like giving an example, RPA as a bot, right? It is pulling the mailbox to read the documents for the invoices which has been received. That can also be done using Camunda. Okay, but yeah, we have chosen RPA here. And then RPA is initiating a case in Camunda for each document they receive for the invoice. And after that, this invoice has been sent to IDP. IDP is like intelligent document processing, which means like if we have a document, right, we train the models in order to extract the key details from those documents, right? Which means like what is the invoice date, amount, and etc., customer details. And that details will be shared back to Camunda. Camunda will like analyze the JSON and retrieve the details. It will display to a form depending upon the confidence score of the IDP model. So, which means there is a human in the loop, which means a user, right? A group of users, they will review the documents, right, in Camunda to see the extracted details of the invoice looks good or not, and if they wanted to edit the details, right, let's say the amount or the company address or something is, I'm just giving an example here, okay, is a little bit something which is needs to be changed, modified, right? They will take those actions, give their comments, and take an action. If all good, right, it will go for like DocuSign. Then DocuSign will sign the document, trigger the invoices to the customer, and then eventually get the response back to Camunda, and Camunda then do it further for the payment team. It will go to the payment team. So in that way, right, we have done the entire process automation, not only the orchestration, where
So
users,
we
right,
don't require
from
any other languages to run the entire processes.
yeah,
Or still it is.
in this case, there is no custom language or no custom API has been written. Only when we have an integration with RPA or IDP, right? These are the common API, which is part of your product, right? Directly, you can expose as a what you can say REST API connectors, right? In order to get
Mhm.
or post the data. But no custom automation has been done, and also the forms, right? What have been created, they are again used as like low code forms, what is available into the Camunda forms, like to display the details and all. And then action buttons also we have available in the Camunda. And then users log in and do the actions using the task list. So this task list is like we will understand. It is one of the out of the box UI provided by the Camunda for the end users to facilitate and take the actions based on their roles and privileges provide. So if there is a payment team, right, they cannot see the data for the reconciliation team, and there is a reconciliation team, right, then they cannot see the data for the payment team. Okay, and if there are some exceptions, like there are error handlings, we move to error queue, then there is an admin team, right, who can take an action on these things.
Yeah,
So all these groups, users,
yeah.
privileges.
These kind of
uh,
roles and responsibilities we can define in Camunda. Yeah.
Absolutely. So all these things, right, is part of an process automation. So here we have done that task automation as well as an orchestration. So orchestration means uh, coordinating with the RPA, coordinating with the DocuSign, coordinating with the IDP team, and the other microservices. So, and on top of that, automation in terms of providing the user access for taking the manual action as and when it is required. These are like I have given a uh, very nutshell and small like highlight about the process, but in real, this process is quite humongous. Hope I'm able to
I,
answer but your question, but let me know if it you need
yeah, yeah.
more details.
No, no, no. I understand. I understand. No, going forward, I can understand more detail about how we can do all these things, during the course. But I have another question, not regarding the Camunda or anything, regarding my career perspective. So I have worked in RPA, Pega out systems. So this RPA is like something like process automation, and Pega and out systems is completely like building an application with uh, low code. Okay. So currently I'm into an, compared to other BAs, I'm into, high package, and my company is asking me to work on Camunda uh, projects. Okay. Though, yet to come the projects. Okay. So how can I, is it, safe to switch my Pega career to Camunda, and how will be my future? Or like Pega is king in low code platform compared to OutSystems or Camunda. So I know APN is also in a good low code platform. So is it okay? Is it safe to switch from Pega to Camunda?
Okay, probably to answer your question, Karthik, like it depends upon a lot of factors as well. But if you ask me, right, based on your experience, you are already doing really well by working into Pega. I'm not, I'm confident even if you look outside as well, then you'll be definitely getting projects, right, which is in Pega. However, to stay in the company, to stay motivated, I must suggest like learning always give you more options, right? If you learn a new tool today or tomorrow, it's
Yes.
always like helpful. Coming back to your question about Camunda and APN, both tools are really doing good. Okay, along with the what I can say, Mendix as well. There are projects in APN, there are projects in Camunda, and there are projects in Mendix as well. Uh, these are like top two, three apart from Pega, right? Where we have project, but it depends upon company to company, right? Look, some companies are using APN, but I don't see they are also using Camunda, and vice versa, right? So it depends upon which company domain you are looking for, but both tools are really good. You can pick either of the two, but uh, most likely. Uh, if you ask me, it's I'm not saying as a biased one, right? Camunda has a different audience to deal with, and APN has a different audience. Both are BPM tools, but both have a tremendous different terminologies in order to design your process. Okay, understanding of the tool is completely different. They are not exactly same. But if you learn Camunda, right, like if you have already worked on Pega and you learn Camunda, there are a couple of other similar tools as well, which is same as Camunda. 80% I must say, like flowable BPM or activity BPM, right? If there are projects, right, in order to evaluate, like at your experience as an architect, right, you have to evaluate some tools and technologies. Then it by learning Camunda, you can very easily switch to like flowable or activity as well, because they comes from the same source code, JBPM.
Okay.
Okay,
How easy,
that's an
like,
added advantage.
compared to Pega, compared to Pega and Camunda. So which one is like, easy to understand or learning perspective? Is it like Camunda will
Okay.
be more easy compared to Pega, or any other low code platform?
Okay, so if you, I'm not sure, like it depends upon the interest. Like if I'll try to learn Pega, right, maybe I will find it tough. Okay, because I haven't gone through much data. I have just know very high level of details about Pega. However, at your side, right, you already worked on Pega, you might find it easier. Okay. Now, second thing is if you are coming from a having a little bit of Java knowledge as well, right? You know the architecture styles as well, the integration and APIs as well. Then I must say learning Camunda will be easier. However, if you are good in database or DB patterns, right, designing the like UI things, right, how forms will be developed, how like you will whenever you start your application, right, what are the data sets and other things you might be requiring. If you think from that perspective, I must say APN is quite easier as compared.
Okay. Okay. Good. By the way, what's your name?
My name is Deepak Sharma. I have introduced myself yesterday. Sorry, I think you have not joined yesterday. So I have
Yeah.
around 16 plus years of experience working into IT. And throughout my career, like I got an opportunity to work hands-on into different BPM tools. But apart from that, if I have not used them in my projects, right, in my company, I also got an opportunity to learn few other tools as well, which is related to BPM.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? So Karthik, if you I have answered your question, maybe you can uh, uh, low down your hand as well.
Yeah. Done.
Thank you. Very good. Good audience and good questions to start with. Now, as we have already like had some Q&A questions, okay. What I'll do is I'll share my screen. Everyone, just let me know if my screen is visible. Yes, no.
Yes. Yes. We can able to see.
Perfect, perfect. So yesterday we had an introduction with all the students who have joined along with me, discuss the topics what we are going to have, we are going to cover in this training duration and all, and then yeah, mixed up with some Q&A session as well. Now today I wanted to start with the overview of Camunda BPM and some journey about the Camunda BPM, but it will be like a bit of theory, which I believe we can do it in next session, okay? Because it's something which is like not going to add value for remaining period of the time. But what we can do is at least I will start with showing you how the Camunda 8 will look like and how you guys can also register yourself, okay, for Camunda 8 platform with SaaS version, software as a service, for free. There is a 30 days of free trial available, which gives all the features, okay, available for you to learning, do the hands-on and understand this product, right, with the different out of the box UIs it provides, do the modeling, deployment, testing, and all these things. So you get familiar with that, but also you can do self-manage as well. In order to have a quick start, right, we can prefer to have a service as a software version. So for that, maybe you can search in Google and go for Camunda free trial. Oh, if you see this, right, signup.camunda.com, it says it provides a SaaS version for 30 days free trial. Just click on that. what you need to do is you can give your business email. Business email doesn't mean like you have to give your company email, Gmail, or any other mail ID also work here very well. Just provide the other details which is there in the form. I don't think it has much details. Your name, details, and company. You can provide those details, and by accepting some agreements, right, you can click on create account. What it does, maybe you guys can try now. At least you will be registered with that. Not sure if everybody has seen that or is aware of that. Well, at least when I talk about any BPMN, DMN, or CMMN things, right? What is a modular task list? If you log in or create your account at your end as well, right? It will be easier to understand. So with that, maybe it won't take much time. Uh, uh, Unlikely that it will take more than 2 minutes. So I'll give a pause here. You guys can register yourself and let me know if anybody is facing any challenge here. What I can also do is I can share the link in the chat. Yeah. Only thing is you should not give the email ID if you have already registered it like before. I'm not sure if somebody has already done that, but if somebody has done that, you should use some other email ID. Okay, so once that is done, right, it will ask for some set of questions like why you wanted to use that development or some other purpose. Just fill those details, it will be easy. And after that, you can create your password. There is a policy. It should be 12 characters and mix of like special character and all. And once that is done, you will be able to log in to this screen. Just let me know if anybody has completed this registration. Hope you guys are not joined from mobile. If you have joined from mobile, that's okay, but at least tell me. Raghu, Monica, Rama. By the way, Monica and PG, I haven't seen you guys in yesterday's session. If you have joined today for the first time, uh, can you guys also introduce yourself and then share your status whether you are able to sign up or not?
I joined yesterday as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hi, this is Prasad here. Today is my first session. However, I have gone through the session that you have yesterday session
Okay.
online recording
Mm-hmm.
session.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm into Pega for almost more than 20 years, and I'm a solutioning architect for Pega. Worked across banking and financial, healthcare, insurance, and oil and gas industries.
Wow.
Yeah,
So we have
and
so many people from Paga background in this training. Great
yeah,
to know. And Prasad, yeah, 20 years of experience, like almost 2 decades. It's like
yeah,
uh, good time. Still, you're up for learning. Pleasure
yeah,
to see that. And
yeah. Thanks.
yeah. Okay, so with that, I'll not wait for more time. What will happen is once you sign up onto that portal, that's a Camunda 8 version, okay, which is SaaS based. Also, you can do the installation as a self-managed, which is like Dockerized or Kubernetes based. We will learn into the further sessions, but to just get an overview about the product, right, how it looks like, what are the different portals it has, it's always good to start with the SaaS based. And apart from that, we also have a Camunda 7, which is a like a previous version. We will look into that as well. But nowadays, most of the customers and clients are like working into Camunda 8. That's why we have chosen this sign up. Also, you can do the similar sign up for Camunda 7 as well. But yeah, we will see how it will be. Once you log in here, you can see on the left uh, top corner, there are a couple of dots, which means if you click on that, you will get to know about the different components it has. Okay, first is like console, then modeler, task list, update, and optimize. All these are the various components a part of your product. Okay, and they have been uh, provided by the product for a specific use case and for the specific uh, features to enable. Like in console, right, most of the time you will be having some uh, like insights about your overall applications which you have developed or deployed. Okay, and also you can go to with particular links, but most importantly, you always, whenever you are, as it's a SaaS based, right, it is there in the cloud, you have to first create a cluster. Cluster is like a kind of a machine which will be uh, allocated to you to work upon. So it's very simple. When you click on that button, right, create new cluster, just give any name. We can give like learning, and then because it's a trial version, right, it is already selected as a trial cluster, and then there are different texts which is there. We will select it as a dev, which will be like if you depending upon which tag you are using, right, like development or learning or training purpose, we'll go with the dev tag, which means if you don't do anything, right, automatically, right, it will be paused after a specific period of hours, which is like 8 hours, right. Your machine will be paused, but that's not a problem. When you log in again, right, you wanted to do your practice again, you can always come back and it will be available, spin up again. That's now, after that, you can also select the region. Okay, as it is a cloud based, right, you can also switch between AWS or GCP, Google Cloud. But again, where which is the uh, closest to you, right, you can select any of the cloud, and then Camunda, right, will create your pod into that particular region. It's preferable you should based upon your country or your region, right, you should select the nearest. Now, apart from that, there are channels like alpha and stable. Alpha and stable means it's kind of a release mechanism. Like every product will have their release. Like they have a product, but with the time they always keep improving on the product by adding some features, new features, right? Or maybe sometimes by doing some bug fixes, right? So they always on a period of time, like they have a schedule, like Camunda always like twice in a year they will have a two major release, and on top of that, maybe bi-weekly or monthly or sometimes 3 months, depending upon what type of changes they are delivering. They are also releasing some minor patches as well. So that's why when you have those release, you can be using the latest version. Alpha means like something which is under trial. Okay, it is not for the production use. But now because we are doing some testing, right, or learning, this trial version allows you to also select this alpha release as well, which means 8.7.0. Okay, which is going to be a future release for the customer projects. However, in the latest release, what we have in Camunda is 8.6, right, which has been released in 2024 December. Okay, so it's like it started with 8.0, then 1, 2, 3, 4, and likewise. Okay, so last release they have is like 8.6. It started in 2023. So with the time they are making major release, but after 8.6 release, they are still working. Product team is still working on the next scope of enhancement. That's why it is 8.7. So you can select whether you wanted to go with the stable, okay, which is like the last official release of the product, which is 8.6 generation 6, 8.6.6, you can also say, or you can also select the previous one as well if you want, 8.3, 4, 5, or 6. We'll go with the alpha, but at least you should be aware what is the difference between alpha and stable. Alpha is for the testing, non-production usage, and stable is something which you can also use for the production release. Once you select these options, you can create a cluster. It will take some time, to like a minute or two, depending upon how busy server is, right? So you can see the status here. It is creating your pod to the selected region and the release what you have selected. It's creating your trial cluster. Now, yeah, it will take some time, maybe as I mentioned, right, a minute or two. You can also do the same thing, okay, and your machine as well, so that your cluster will be available. But apart from that, you can also go to the organization tab, which will be having the other details like what user it is there. Okay, you can also add new users, or you can also delete the users, also provide some default roles also you can assign to those users. If you wanted to invite your like teammates or any other users as well, you can just type their email address and you can send an invite to those users. Okay, an email will be triggered from the product, and they can, like, it's just kind of a hyperlink. By clicking on that, right, they will be able to access your application. By that way, you can also do the collaboration in order to share your applications or projects as well. But then, yeah, nevertheless, you can create some groups. We will see what are groups. Okay, how the identity management will work. Okay, but here, right in the dashboard or organization place, you can see what all activities you have done in the last couple of hours. What is the uses you have done? These are like client credentials. Like that is something we do, or we create those APIs whenever we wanted to have a client to integrate with our application. Here, meanwhile, you can see we have got the notification that our cluster machine is ready. But yeah, I was telling about the client credentials, which means whenever you create any Java backend Spring Boot application, right, or maybe any other program which you have written custom and you wanted to integrate with your Camunda low code applications, you need to create those credentials. Okay, you can give a name. Again, you can give any name for your credentials, like training, and then you can select the scope, what type of credentials you wanted to create. Like if we do the backend integration, we wanted to integrate with the Spring Boot application, we need a ZB client. So what is ZB? Okay, ZB is something which is part of the Camunda 8 architecture. Okay, because that is the revolutionary thing which comes up when Camunda 8 come. So we will go into the detail what ZB is, what is ZB client is, right? Client is nothing but your and application which wants to connect to your BPM application or Camunda application. So you can select that. Once you click on create, right, what happens? It will create the properties for your client. It is important that you can download that or you can save them. Okay, because this will be having your client ID as well as your client secret. This secret will not be available. Okay, once you close this screen, right, it won't be available again. Okay, so that's why it's always recommended that you note down these details, right, whenever you are creating a client and save it. We will learn in detail. Don't worry about it. Okay, but whenever we are doing API integrations, right, in our practical exercises, we will have a detailed session around this. So that is something about that. Apparently, if you wanted to have a curl application as well, product gives you to copy in that format as well. So yeah, apart from that, yeah, different prices because you're using trial version, right? What are the different options it is offering? It is giving these details and some setting options as well. But that is about the console. If we go back again to the cluster side, right, we can see our, as I mentioned, right, our cluster has been created into this region and it has a healthy status as well. So if it is not healthy, right, which means it will be having a yellow or red symbol depending upon what is the current status of your pod. So if it is green, which means everything good. If it is yellow, which means you have a latency, or red means there is something wrong and it is down. Now, this is the main second screen, right? Modeler. Modeler is something which we use as a developer for creating our low-code applications using BPMN, also using DMN. So here you can create your applications by clicking on new project, right? You can create a process, let's say test process. This will be your process or application is like a placeholder, right? Within which you can create many other different files as well. You can see here, you can create an application, you can create a process BPMN diagram, you can create a decision management notation, like if you wanted to write a business rule, you can create DMN. If you wanted to use any UI, you can create forms, right? Also, you can create a connector template or some folders as well. So different options are available. Also for tutorial, right, there are like by default, there are some blueprints as well. Like if you wanted to learn or use the existing applications or tutorials which is already available by the product, right, in order to have a quick understanding, that is also possible. You can go and check what all different processes are available. Okay, so that is also one thing. You can just import them, and again, if you wanted to mm, make some changes, right, you wanted to add some collaborators, like you wanted to invite your teammates, right, to work into this application, you can have the email ID for that, and you can select the privilege, what type of privilege you wanted to give to your teammate. Like somebody just want to look into this, but they should not make any changes, right, because they don't know, or if they change, right, you will lose some uh, meaningful details. So you can have a viewer access. If somebody, like, you wanted to collaborate, like they can review your processes or application, but also after they cannot change it, but they can suggest some comments or improvements, right? It can be a commenter. And likewise, if you want your teammates, right, also to view, comment, and also they can make changes in your absence, right, or with your presence, then you can also give an editor access as well. And then admin, which means they can have the admin related, which means all the privileges in order to work into that particular application. So those invites you can send, and you can uh, yeah uh, collaborate with different users. Like assume if you wanted to start with a BPMN diagram, we will learn with the many people might not be knowing it, what is BPMN. So we haven't started actually learning on BPMN, but yeah, this is how you will see a canvas with a low code approach, right? You will be having uh, on the left hand side, you will be having a palette which is full of like notations, right, which is supported by the BPMN, which means they are something you can use it for as a drag and drop to create your application. But on top of that, if you don't want to do that, you can also click on like uh, can have a drag and drop like this, and then if you want to delete, you can click on that. We will see how we can do that. But middle of your canvas, right, is for designing your application or developing your application. And if you click on any application or any icon here, right, on your canvas, then you can also configure your properties as well. So how you can configure your properties is on the right hand side. You can see the properties section is there. You can click on anything. You can give the name like start process, something like that. Okay. So you can give some name to that, and along with that, right, you have lot many other properties as well, which will differ depend upon what shape or what element you are choosing from the palette. And if you wanted to do some comments also, you wanted to add some remarks, you can also do that. On top of that, on the left hand side, you can see, right, that when you go to the design mode, only you can see your process. But if you go to the implement tab, you can also add comments or change the properties as a developer. And at the same time, if you wanted to test, right, if any application you have already developed, right, which has no errors, right, then you can also do a round of testing as a developer also, right. Here itself, we will see how you can do that testing as well, which means like before you even deploy, you wanted to validate, right, whether your process is working fine or not. All these things you can do. So we'll go into the detail, but this is a modeler by which, right, you can create your applications. You can also do a deployment from here itself. Okay. And there are many other ways as well, but directly you can deploy. So once you deploy, right, any of your application, it will be available for end users to work on. So what are the end users? Let's say you are a developer, right, and you have created a banking application for credit card. Then when you are deploying it, then somebody who wants to apply for a credit card in your bank, right, it will be an end user, right. So how they can access your application, if it is not internet based, like you wanted to have a some task, right, to display, or they wanted to initiate or work on your application, then this is the screen. Task list is meant for the end or business users. They can see all the tasks and processes which is like deployed. Okay. And task, which means like there are two different users. Assume there is a uh, reviewer and there is a manager. Okay. Then both have a different roles, which means both are having a privilege to work on different tasks. Then depending upon what type of role you have, right, only those tasks you can see. But if you have an admin access, which means you will be able to view all the tasks which is available. However, these tasks, right, what to display, it depends upon what type of role you are assigning, right, to a particular user. So internally product will manage uh, by him itself which task to display to which user. So once you log into the application, depending upon what role you have, you can see only those tasks. Operate is nothing but for admin users. In Camunda 7, we call it as a cockpit. In Camunda 8, it is like updated with a new name as an operate, by which we can see how many processes are running. Okay, in a process, how many instances are running, how many are completed, which is pending, if there is any error, if we wanted to migrate a process from one version to another person, all these things, right, admin related tasks you can do from operate or in Camunda 7 by cockpit. Last but not the least, the last screen is optimize, where we see quite of dashboards, right? Whatever applications we create, it has a lot of transactions. Based on these transactions, right, you can also create the dashboards. Okay. And with low code features, and also you can see the analysis and analytics of your deployed applications as well, like what is the transaction time, what are the heap map, and other details. We will look into this detail, but that is a nutshell about uh, what are the different screens which is available. Okay, and then yeah, I will pause here. We will start working or using this particular product once we have a basic understanding and knowledge about BPMN, CMMN, and DMN, right? So we'll go through with all these objects. What are the BPMN elements, right? What are flow objects? What are connecting objects, lanes, artifacts? We'll go into the detail, okay? And once we read about or learn about these particular uh, terminologies, right? We will start using Camunda Modeler in order to create application by using those elements. And that's how we will progress one after another. Any questions, guys?
Yeah, Deepak, this is Ramakoti. Yeah, this is
Mm-hmm.
early asking the question, but I have some. See, if we clicking anything in that modeling, it is auto saved. See, if I want to something, see if you open modeler, if anything you drag
Yes.
and drop that auto save. But I
Yes.
want to delete something. If I don't want to discard the changes, that kind of things are will be there here, like check in, check out kind of things.
Yes.
Something is missing.
Yeah, so we will learn about these things. There are like versioning you can do also, like whenever you are working on a project, right, or in a BPM process, right, you can also like create an history also. Okay, you can do a versioning, which means whatever work you have done, right, you wanted to save. Let's say after creating, you have 10 steps to develop. You have developed two steps, and two steps are already been like you have validated, they are working fine. After that, you go and develop third step or fourth step, right? But let's say if something doesn't working well, you wanted to go back to your previous working state, then you can do
Yeah,
the versioning, right? That is called tagging, which you can do, and you can revert back directly to the previous version. Or like if you have like 10 different versions, right? You have an option to switch back to either of the version, right? From 0 to 10. All these things you can do.
because yeah, current project. See, I did not see that kind of thing. That's why I cannot see in that things. Everything is auto saved if I doing something. If I want to return back to
That's
original
what I'm
state,
saying. You can do that's. I think I have answered your question, but we'll see how it will work, right? It is not like we have not even started working on that. But
yeah,
this feature is there, and you can do this from the modeler itself. Okay, you can do the versioning, and you can save to a particular state where you want to be. So it's up to a developer, right? You can also collaborate with different other developers as well, as I mentioned, right? But then if somebody changes, right, in your process, how you will get to know what was your last working project. Okay,
yes, yes, that's
and
right.
with the time in the production also, like if a project is like 1 year long, you have a different releases as well, right? Definitely you can roll back from your backup from the product tables as well, but at the same time, if you wanted to have a versioning and history to also save in the modeler also, right, you can get it from there as well with the major releases. And that you can also do for a specific file and also for an application as well, both. And when you also wanted to compare between two versions, right? Like my current version, if I wanted to compare from the previous version, like first version, second,
Mm.
third, you can also compare them. It will give you what are the differences between these two, what are the changes. If you have added something, you have deleted something, or you have updated something, all these things we can compare. So we'll see on that part, not an issue. And that is there in the product. Any other question? Okay. If not, then yeah, also we are approaching towards the closure of the time. There is an update regarding the timings for the regular classes. Most likely, will not be able to continue on the weekdays. Okay, but you can connect with the uh, coordinator of this training program, maybe Sarita, and she will let you know the options we can have. Okay, but most likely this will be a training for weekend. Okay, and when we talk about the weekend, it will be like 90 minutes to 120 minutes on Saturday and Sunday each. Any other questions? Okay, if not, I'll stop sharing, and thank you all for joining and having good conversation around it. With that, I wish you a happy weekend to follow, and let's connect again once we have a confirmation from the coordinator on this part. Have a nice weekend, guys.